Welcome to the show.
All right. So speaking of loving the character, but it's a bit dull, North Korea's been getting feisty.
It's a weird segue.
That's an
Anyway.
amazing transition.
Not sure
Ali.
it works.
Anyway,
Phenomenal.
so a bunch of stuff's happened with North Korea. They had sanctions put on by the UN Security Council last Saturday. Those were actually pretty significant. Like, for the first time in a while, the Chinese didn't veto the sanctions. So normally in the Security Council, the Chinese, as North Korea's main ally, and the people who don't want North Korea to become a failed state, will generally veto sanctions so that their economy doesn't crash and they don't become like a basket case. Well, they're kind of already a basket case, but like don't become more of a basket case, right? Because they don't want the instability of having a failed state on their borders.
Correct. Because sanctions stop food going in and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, they stop money and then people start dying and then, yeah.
This is
But
what-
anyway,
This is what we talked about last time, so good job for listening to Trend Settings,
China.
the China.
Okay.
China.
The China. That was actually spurred on by the fact that the North Koreans managed to successfully test a ballistic missile that could probably reach at least Alaska.
Wow.
They're making big steps towards getting the range
That's-
to meet
That's a lot.
to reach mainland USA. I think the most recent one had like an 8,000 kilometer range or 6,000 kilometer range.
Do you think China's realised they could turn on us too?
No, I think they've just realized that. Okay, so this is a big, like, giant game of chess, right?
It's like Game of Thrones, right?
No.
No, no.
Chess.
But anyway,
Chess.
chess.
Thanks, Chris. So chess.
Yeah, not Game of Chess. Game of Chess. Anyway, that was a very Ye-Chan-esque interruption there.
No, thank you.
I'll do what I can. Good one, Ali.
Anyway, so North Korea, they don't have an economy, right?
Correct.
A lot of the population lives on subsistence farming. They're forced to work in factories, all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
They don't really have a functioning economy. The government of North Korea mainly, basically, their policy is military first.
Mm-hmm.
They've technically been in a state of war with like America and South Korea for 50 years now,
Mm-hmm.
more. Their main bargaining chip, it's not actually their nuclear weapons. Their main bargaining chip is they have like 12,000 artillery and rocket launchers that are currently aimed at Seoul, South Korea, which is 40 kilometers away from their border.
Which, let me just say, South Korea, like, yes, I'm from South Korea, but why would you put your capital city so close to North Korea? You can bloody see it from the border. Like, put it on the other side of the country. Anyway, sorry.
It is very close.
It's pretty dumb.
So North Korea has like these mountains and they've got all these artillery pieces in these like little holes in the side of the mountains. So you can't even bomb them. You can't even stop them. And then when they want to fire, they open these big metal gates and the artillery piece comes out, shoots, and then goes back in to reload. And they close the gates again. So it's really hard to stop that. And there's so many of them. There's no shield you can have. Basically, if you do anything to North Korea military-wise, they will definitely shoot all of those artillery pieces as much as they can at Seoul.
What if?
And you would get... They think... The theory is that 1 million people would die.
Right.
Well, it's a
that
very
minimum.
heavily concentrated population.
Yes,
in Seoul.
25 million people in Seoul. So, like, that much artillery... That is the gun that they hold to South Korea in order to be, like, don't attack us.
To give you an idea, like, how many people are there in Australia?
Like
20
25 million.
23?
Yep, so it's
23.
it's a little bit more than the population of Australia in, like, size of Sydney.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining numbers to me.
That's crazy.
Cray.
So, dumb question, but I'm going to ask it. Do they have like a defense against that? Not as in like shooting back, but does still have like a big shield or something?
Like a dime?
You're right, that was a dumb question.
You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be something they're doing. Like, they can't just be watching these guns being like mounted against them and
They
not
should
like
build a
doing
wall.
something. Do you know
Like
what I
a
mean?
force field?
What
Is that what you mean?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
big
Like,
mag-
They have a lot of bunkers for the population to
yeah.
run into, and I think they have air raid type sirens.
So are they missiles?
Some of them are the rockets. So this is the thing. I said there was 10,000 artillery pieces. Only apparently about 1,000 of them, or maybe less, actually have the range to hit
So
Seoul. Yeah. So most artillery pieces maybe 30 kilometer range, 20 kilometer range, which puts it just beyond. Like they'd have to get there. They can't. Basically, they can't hit it.
Yep.
But they do have some pieces of artillery that have the capability of reaching. Plus, their rockets can. But even then, like the first wave that immediately comes out from those mountain ranges, you got like maybe 2,000 to 3,000 individual projectiles that aren't particularly aimed at anything, but Seoul is such a big target that doesn't matter.
Right.
There's no way to protect against it.
Right.
Secret evacuation, and then
But you don't
strike.
know because
What do you want to
immediate
evacuate?
strike.
25 million people.
No, yeah, we evacuate,
It's a lot of people. To
and
move
then
around.
we strike on North Korea.
What's
and
the
then they're
strike
like,
though?
I don't know, because we're
You
saying
have
we
to take out all the artillery pieces at once.
no, but then
Yeah.
go ahead and launch your things because no one's at home. We've secretly evacuated.
So you, 25 million people.
I don't think
I'm
you
just
can
thinking
secretly...
of some solution.
The other
What's your
thing-
solution?
The other
yeah,
thing
Ken?
North Korea has very well trained special operatives.
Damn it.
Highly trained. They've also got
Spies?
potentially the largest chemical weapons
Wow.
stockpiles in the world. Don't know if we don't know. No one knows if that's true or not, but they think potentially they do have that. So like that's the threat. It's not actually their nukes. Even if they, the thing is, I don't really get why they're trying to succeed at getting nuclear weapons. I think the idea is that, say, imagine this is a hostage situation where you have America, who's got a gun pointed at North Korea. North Korea's got their gun pointed at South Korea.
Yeah.
I think they want a gun they can point at
Exactly.
America.
Yeah. Back at them. Yeah.
Which is the nuclear option, because their artillery obviously can't do anything to America.
Mhm.
That's why they're trying to get nukes. That was basically started by Kim Jong-un's father, right? Or even before that, Kim Il-sung.
Yep. Kim Il-sung.
Kim Il-sung. So yeah, that's what they're trying to do. But the problem is, America won't let them get nukes. America's not going to accept that eventuality. But so I guess the only stable situation was when North Korea was developing nukes but wasn't actually reaching it. Recently, so like in the last like couple of days, reports have come out that North Korea has possibly got the capability of fitting their nukes into a warhead small enough to launch on a ballistic missile.
to Guam.
To Guam, yeah. I think that's an accuracy issue. Their really long-range rockets probably don't have the accuracy required for a precision strike. So, the situation has become quite destabilized. So it's been stable for a long time. America, I think their favorite thing is to ignore North Korea when that's possible. Is to like go, we don't care about this. That needs to go away. Because North Korea doesn't have oil or anything, so
Yeah.
America doesn't care, right?
Just people, you know. Like,
Yeah, it's humans
Who needs
and
them?
stuff. But it's not like there's not anything they have that America wants. It's just a threat that they want it to go away. Right? So if they can ignore them, they'd love that.
Yep.
North Korea doesn't want to be ignored. Apparently the idea is that they actually want a peace treaty eventually, but they want to do it on equal terms.
Pizza's here.
Yeah, so like
What
I don't know. You'll hear a lot of sensationalist stuff that talks about the nukes factor.
Fire and fury.
Yeah, so Trump came out saying if North Korea talks any more of this or does anything, they'll see fire and fury like the world has never seen.
And a righteous anger.
Yes.
He actually said it. It wasn't on Twitter either, right?
No, that was Twitter.
No, but he,
I saw a recording of it.
Oh, right.
yeah,
Okay.
he said it in like some meeting.
Oh,
He
right.
said
I
it
don't-
twice.
I don't think the meeting was about Korea though.
He just wanted to say it.
Did you hear the game that the foreign nationals are playing of like Trump word lottery or whatever, where they all say
Bingo?
the bingo of like what words he's gonna say, and it's always like it's the best and things like that.
China.
Yeah, like they've actually made a game out of his speeches. Like it's
Amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's happened.
Do you think anything's going to happen, or is this another big political...
I genuinely hope nothing is going to happen. I don't think
Political
North
event.
Korea doesn't want anything to happen.
Hmm.
America doesn't want anything to happen. No one actually wants anything to happen. So it'd be really stupid if something happens. But I guess the worry is that Trump would make something happen. Or Kim Il. It's weird because now they're both leaders. It's kind of like
crazy.
you don't know what anyone's going to do.
Two lunatics.
The thing
Two
is...
lunatics, but no one... Yeah, Kim Jong-un knows if he does anything, it's the end of them, right? So any action on his part is a suicidal action. Maybe like okay, so they came out saying we're gonna have a plan in 4 days to be able to hit near Guam. So they're telegraphing we're gonna shoot missiles into the water near Guam. They're not aiming for Guam. Guam is an island south of Japan and Korea, which has 163,000 people on it and 2 big US military
Military
bases,
bases, yeah.
that has their long range bombers and ships and stuff. So I think the idea is that even if they do launch the missiles, they're not aiming to actually hit. Because normally when they've actually done something, like that time they launched artillery at a South Korean island, or they've blown up a few South Korean ships, they haven't warned anyone that they were going to do it. They just did it. This time I think they definitely want... It sounds like they really want everyone to know they're going to do it, and it's not to actually cause any damage, because they don't want the retaliation.
I think the interesting thing is like to think about what the solution would be, because I think the analogy you said is perfect. Like, they've got a gun pointed at South Korea. America's got a gun pointed at them, and in that, like within that situation, they're slowly making a gun that they're hoping to point back at America. So, like, what do we do? Do we stay in that stalemate and let them keep developing new weapons and new missiles that are eventually going to let them point more guns to more people? Or do we take action now, but then run the risk of them pulling the trigger on the gun that's pointed at South Korea?
Yeah.
Do you reckon they've tried to assassinate him a lot? The Korean dictator, I mean. They would have had to.
I think they probably realised that killing him wouldn't solve anything, because they would have someone just ready to step up straight away, next in line.
But would everyone worship the replacement as a god?
They'll make him. They'll make sure they do.
Right.
I don't think
It'll probably be one of their generals that has like a
Yeah.
chest full of medals.
Did you see it went down to his pants?
They have their military parades and they have so many medals.
They have medals that go down to their pants.
What are they for?
Exactly. What have they done?
for?
Right.
What are they for?
Every time they win a game of bingo, they get another badge.
Yeah. So I like. There's no real reason to be scared. It's a bit worrying when the rhetoric on our side, like the media, is like kind of hyping him up as like this massive threat, because it feels like the prelude for getting the public ready to be okay with the war.
Yeah.
Like, it's very similar to what happened with the Iraq war. The media just like builds up this person as like a massive threat, so that the public's okay when someone goes, all right, we're going to do something about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the US has nothing to gain from war.
No.
Do they make money?
No.
They wouldn't, because there's not much to take
They
there.
would spend a lot of money because munitions are very expensive. Some of those missiles would be upwards of $1 million each.
But again, like, the longer we don't do anything, it's giving North Korea more and more time to develop more weapons.
But on the positive side, it seems like China's not happy with anything further happening on the North Korean side, so they don't want anything more to develop. So they've always been happy with a stalemate, because they like stalemates. They like status quo.
Yeah.
Because they know they're on an upward trajectory. If everything stays the way it is, they
Take over the
gain.
world.
No, they don't even want to take over the world. They're just like, they're gaining as it is. So why would you ever want to change that? You're growing at whatever, like 7% a year. Why would you stop?
The chess game?
I don't know. Anyway,
They built the chessboard.
they're standing behind North Korea with a lot of guns.
The chessboard
Pointed
is
at
definitely
everyone.
made in China. Yes.
Yeah. But they supported the recent round of sanctions, which cut like North Korean income by like a third, because it was all their coal exports, and they can't send, because North Korea makes money by sending slave labor basically to other countries.
What?
So they can't do that anymore.
And a Korean guy just got out.
A
Canadian guy.
A Canadian pastor was just released.
A
but
Canadian
who knows?
Korean.
Who knows why though?
Yeah, that was interesting timing.
Yeah.
Was
That
that?
happened today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, last
Canadian
time-
pastor was released after 2 years in custody. in
Last
North
time
Korea.
they let someone out, he died shortly after.
Yeah, there haven't been any reports that he's.
Unwell.
Yeah.
Did he walk? Like, was he walking when he
Don't know.
left? or-
In the picture I saw, he was upright.
The other thing is, I didn't realize they had these people in captive. Like, how many more people do they have?
I don't know.
They must have a whole bunch
Yeah,
of
there's
them.
probably a fair few, but
Pretty crazy.
it is crazy, and it's interesting what's going to happen. I mean, the best solution is nothing. Like just talking. Talking would be good. There's just no reason for anything to happen. No one should want anything to happen. So yeah. Although I was thinking, if you were America and you did have to have something happen, you'd probably just do a preemptive nuclear strike on where you think all that artillery is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be I mean, not ideal, but that would be a solution.
I'd imagine
right?
that's what they would have to do.
Wouldn't it also hit South Korea if you did it that close to South Korea?
Nukes don't have to there's been like 6,000 nuclear tests in the nuclear age.
Right.
They don't have to destroy such a large area.
But would you know how when the nuke hits, like it creates radiation? Would that
Yeah.
affect Korea?
I'm not sure, and I'm not sure given like how much radiation there would be because they'd have to use more than one nuke. I mean, the radiation from Nagasaki and Hiroshima. I'm not sure how many people that actually killed.
Interesting.
People are living there now, so yeah. I'm just imagining if I was like the general who had to be in charge of a plan,
Yeah.
knowing nothing about what
Oh,
anyone's actually capable of, it would be like we have to take out the artillery because that's
Straight
like
away, yeah.
So that's
Do you think they actually care about that though, or are they just thinking about themselves?
no, they would care. There's nothing good. Like if Seoul gets attacked, even if you don't give a crap about Korean people, the world economy gets screwed
Right.
by something like that happening.
Okay.
Who's going to build your Kias?
Marley's chiming in and saying
Samsungs.
the pastor's name was John Hosmer from Morocco or something. He
Welcome
says.
back, John.
Morocco, Canadian on the BBC News.
He said or something, so you know that he covered his tracks, even though he has the whole of Google to ask.
John Hosmer is actually another person watching the video, and he lives in Morocco.
Maybe. But anyway,
Would you go to North Korea on a tour?